Let me keep this real. Doing it alone is no longer the assignment for us high achieving executive level women. We need to go ahead and dismiss that narrative because that is what's getting us burnt out. Even when we are in community with people, it's almost like masked up perfection. So, I want to share with you in this video why we as women no longer have to do it alone. Even when we're around other people, we can show up with our true, authentic selves with the right community in mind. Lean in if you are tired of doing it alone, exhausted, burnt out. This is your permission slip to rise. Dive in. Does this sound familiar? Oh my gosh, you do so much work. How do you keep it all together? Oh, let's just go ahead and rely upon Susan. Susan will go ahead and do it. Susan's our best employee. Susan is stressed out doing the job of 4 or 5 people, smiling, faking it, wearing a mask, going home at night, trying to take care of everybody else at home, exhausted. And she's joined all these different groups. She has the American Heart Association group. She's joined this board. She's a part of this initiative and this nonprofit. And she's just applauded for being such a big community advocate. And then she wins the award for doing all those things, but she's exhausted because she's still trying to go it alone. In the disguise of being in community, when you are totally exhausted like that, it's time for you to lay that down, my sister. I know who you are. I happen to attract you into the Rise Advocates Academy because that's when you say, I'm done. You start waving the white flag, it's over. And this is your sign that it's time for us to stop going alone. Stop trying to be performative in these types of spaces. I just feel often as high achieving women, women who are over 45, not that that equals high achieving all the time. I'm saying that the women in my community who are 45 plus, we're dealing with things like menopause, perimenopause, and we realize that all the work that we did in the past to actually show our worth, worked really well for us. It got us promoted, it got us looked at, we won awards for it, you know, but we are exhausted and we aren't in spaces where you really show up like you can excel. Like, am I right or am I right? So, I want to share with you what I've started to realize about my own self and the women that I serve in our Rise 53 Inner Circle and the Rise Advocates Academy. If you're new to this channel, my name is Diana Patton, and I am what you would call an authentic power strategist. I help high achieving corporate women, executive level women in corporate America, primarily to use their authentic power, their authentic voice, so that they can show up in their work, in their communities, and in their homes as their true self without code switching and posturing and pretending like they have it all together in a clear body, mind, and spirit. This is what we do. And what I'm sharing with you today in this video is what we are sharing with our Rise 53 Inner Circle, who meets weekly every single Friday. And we talk about topics like this. This is something that I feel so many executive level women find themselves in all of these different places, spaces, and still lacking a sense of community. I got to the point where I started to realize that a lot of the people that I hang around or I was in community with, I was still shrinking and still kind of acting like, oh, yeah, I can do all of these things, and realizing these are all traps that do not allow me the opportunity to really say, I'm not doing well. I don't feel like what I'm saying is right. I don't feel like I'm really being treated well. All of the things I've come to realize that I want to be in spaces where I'm free to be able to share that I'm not well and also build one another up, to go after the vision that we have for our lives. And I am telling you that I have been living a life where I have been attracting people like that into the academy, but also finding that refuge for myself. And I have to share with you about a recent encounter that I had. It was actually a year ago, that recent, where I went to a conference put on by the Rachel Rodgers, who is the author of The Millionaire Mindset. And she put on the ROI Summit in Huntington Beach, California. My goal in going to this conference, like every single conference, is to meet women who I believe who are on this path, right? Who want to, be real with themselves, but also meet their goals. And I am telling you that when I walked into this conference, and I just have to set the stage for you because the stage was set up like this in this huge auditorium with over 500 women there, which was beautiful. She's created such an amazing community. And she has the VIP seating, you have the secondary middle level seating, and then you have the regular folk who are signing up. And I was the regular folk in the middle, but undoubtedly lighting my light on fire because I was there to meet people and I wanted to attract those women into my life. And sure enough, who walked on the stage? None other than the Pearl Noir. She is the healing through seduction expert. She comes on stage with her presence, giving us practices and tools and um, just ceremonial rituals that she does in her everyday work, helping women overcome the problems that they've had in their past through healing through seduction methodology. And she's like, ha, ha, talking about ancestors and sharing about how we are the ones who control our lives. I was mesmerized. And all I kept thinking is, I want to meet this woman. I want to meet with her and I just want to just sit in her presence and get to know her. Then, second up, the Dre Brown, who is now the founder of In a Dre's Work, but also the makeup artist extraordinaire, speaker, MC to the millionaires, comes out on stage emceeing the event and glorifying all the work that Healing Through Seduction Pearl was talking about. And it was as if I was watching my two best friends on stage. And I'm thinking, wow, what an amazing thing. I just think that if I could just be their friends, we would light up the world. Y'all, that's exactly what happened. They walk out and everybody's trying to connect with them, talk with them, and they're kind of nestling their way over to the corner. And I just met them and I said, so when are we going to take this on the road? They looked at me like, what? I said, so when are we going to take this on the road, ladies? These women were immediately like, we just knew immediately we needed to talk. Like, because there was something that was magnetizing me to them to me. And y'all, we began meeting and we began talking. And all of a sudden, we decided that we would call ourselves the Sacred Salon. The Sacred Salon was born because we women knew that we wanted to be in spaces and places with other women where we could feel this sense of exhale, where we could talk about the fact that I'm tired of carrying all of this weight. Yet we wanted to be in spaces where we knew that we could excel, but there were practices and disciplined things that we have to do for ourselves to help our individual lives rise. And so we decided that we would curate this beautiful connection where we would actually teach other women everything that we knew, right? But what began to happen as we were meeting on a weekly basis, we didn't realize that we needed the Sacred Salon for ourselves. right? We didn't know that. I mean, of course we knew that, but we didn't know that how badly we needed that community. And it is my firm belief that I attracted Pearl and Dre into my life, and that what they were seeking, I was seeking, and what I was seeking, they were seeking. And you know that Rumi says in the quote, what you seek is seeking you. So I ask you this, what are you doing to create community within your life where that type of energy shows up? Synergy, this understanding that you can lean on one another, where iron sharpens iron, not for performance necessarily, not for an output necessarily, but just to create community. So I want to read to you a little bit of the newsletter that we actually publish every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with typical coaching corners for our Rise 53 Inner Circle. I want to share with you a little bit of what that newsletter says, just to kind of give you a brief understanding of what we talk about in our communications. And then, of course, we talk about that every Friday. This is, again, the Rise 53 Inner Circle, which is our paid newsletter subscription for people who want to dive in and create community like I have with Pearl and Dre. So I want to share this, what is said. It says, at some slippery point along our lives, we start to think independence got confused with isolation. And this isolation that we can't show up as our true, authentic selves. And so when I met the Sacred Salon, we realized that building together reminded me that real community isn't about performance or proximity. It's about permission. Permission to excel, to tell the truth, and to lead without armor. Because, see, a lot of us are still trying to lead in spaces we're calling community, but we're still armoring up. Marinate on that for a minute. But you know what? I don't know about you, but I know that's a beautiful feeling to be in. So, if you've been craving spaces where you don't have to hold it all together, if you've felt the shift and wondered, okay, so now what? Let this be your reminder. You don't have to do it alone. And I want to tell you that, see, even in these community spaces, you have to watch another slippery slope. The slippery slope is that you join these communities and then it becomes this complaining sessions with no forward movement, right? So you want the balance where it's not toxic, but it's actually allowing you to grow and to thrive and to get to where it is that you know you are supposed to be. Is this helpful to you? I know that this is something that we all need. Please take the time to understand that you don't have to go it alone. You don't have to create community based upon some type of perfectionism or ideology, but you want to be in spaces that allow you to breathe and grow. That's what we do in the Rise 53 Inner Circle. If you're interested in joining a specific group that allows you to do just that, that's our Rise 53 Inner Circle. It's a monthly subscription that allows you to connect to people that are doing just that. If you want to dive deeper, you say, okay, I've listened to you long enough, Diane. I've been following you. I want to know more about this Rise Advocates Academy. It's our flagship program. It's 12 weeks. It allows you to leave out of that as a certified Rise advocate. And then you can go into our continuity program called Rise 53. If you work for a company and you say, oh my gosh, our ERG, our employee resource group, a women's employee resource group, would do so well by having you, invite me in. We have several different types of programs, which are modified versions of our academy that we can introduce to you, and we could even introduce our academy. All of those links are below, but I will tell you, whatever you do, subscribe to this channel. Make certain that you hit the bell so that you can be notified when I do come out with these weekly videos and this weekly content. We tend to inspire, encourage, and then also teach. This one is just to encourage you today. So I look forward to you being in this community, and I look forward to you rising with me as we rise in our Rise Advocates movement. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.